Yo, it's TheGIBBYNATR. In this video I'm going to be giving you some tips on how you can deal with bad lobbies in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Before we get into it, me and It's Lukey are doing a giveaway of a free copy of Modern Warfare, so if you'd like to enter that, go into the description and you'll find a link to the rules and just follow them and you'll be entered into the giveaway. So without further ado, let's get straight into the tips. So in Call of Duty, when you join a game and you start to find a match, you are essentially spinning a wheel of fortune on whether you're going to get a good lobby, a mediocre lobby, or an absolutely horrible lobby full of sweaty people. Now obviously the ideal is to get the one full of noobs where we can just smash them and get our score streaks, but it doesn't always go that way, and more often than not we end up with loads of sweaty kids that have 3 KDs and will absolutely slap you and drop loads of streaks, and you probably won't have too much fun. And the point of this video is to make it so that you can take something positive away from those games, because they're going to happen, and if you're just getting raged from it and you're not getting anything positive from it, then you're essentially wasting your time. So this video will hopefully change that and will hopefully help you out. So initially it's all about your goals as a player. Now, if you're someone that just wants to get nukes all the time, maybe staying in a lobby with 5 kids with all 3 KDs isn't a good idea, because the chances are you're not going to drop a nuke, so therefore you're not going to have fun and you're just going to waste your time. So you may just want to leave. I wouldn't judge you for that. Find a new lobby and hopefully you'll have better luck getting a nuke in that next lobby. However, if you're someone that just wants to improve as a player, I would recommend you stay in those lobbies, because you can learn a lot from the good players by playing against them, and you can just diversify your skill set and become a better player yourself. So this video is going to be aimed at those people that want to stay in the games, to kind of take something positive away from it and to learn from it. So we've all had the games where you do get into the lobbies where everyone on the other team is just dropping streaks, you're getting absolutely slapped, your teammates don't seem to be doing anything, and it's awful. And now I want to give you some tips that are going to help you to counter that and flip it on its head, and maybe even end up with you dropping your score streaks. I've had games where I've been doing awful against good players and I've dropped nukes. Not in this Call of Duty yet, but in past Call of Duties. So there are things that you can do to flip it on its head. It may not seem like it's possible at times, but I can assure you it is possible. It definitely is possible. So what you want to do is figure out what the enemy is doing and why it's leading to your team getting clapped so much. So normally it's because the enemy team has map control and they're just trapping you in the spawn and they're just getting kills upon kills and you don't seem to be able to get out of the spawn. And the thing with those kind of players is they tend to have a similar technique and a similar strategy whenever they go into a game. Like they just memorize, like these good players, they go into a game with a strategy. They've found something out that works by playing the game again and again, and they seem to just use that strategy again and again. So for example, on Grasna Raid, everybody knows the up top that's open, the building, and people always camp in there and they shoot into the spawn. Most of the good players will be up there spawn trapping, and they'll be getting lots of kills and barely any deaths. Now if you were to compromise that, take control of that building, put claymores down, you've just taken away from them their pivot point on how they're controlling the entire game. So if you can take that away from them, then you can gain control of the game, start to get map control, and potentially flip the game on its head. And an important thing is that you can look at these good players, look at where they're kind of controlling and holding down, and you can replicate that in future games to do the same as what they're doing to you. And that's how I learned how to play Call of Duty for sure. So what can you do when you're being spawn trapped? And I think the number one thing where people go wrong is that they tend to just run straight back to the same person again and again because they want the revenge. However, that isn't the cleverest thing to do. If you die more than 3 times in a row, the chances are you're going to keep on dying. So logically, what you'd want to do is not go back to that person at all. You'd want to go as far away as possible as you can. So what I would normally do, say I've just died 3 times in a row to someone that's spawn trapping me, I would normally go for the flank and I would just pray that there's no people there. and I would try to just get as far away as possible from that person that's just been killing me. And most of the time, I will just try to forget about them, and I'll just try to leave them where they are and let them do their thing, and I'll just get away from them and start doing my thing. And when you're in these lobbies, you want to change your playstyle massively. And the great thing about this game is that you can edit your classes mid-game. So say for example, they have loads of kill streaks up, and they have like chopper gunners, they have AI kill streaks like the Helo Pilot and the VTOL. These are kill streaks that are just going to absolutely obliterate you and potentially give you like 10 plus deaths, which is not fun. And so what you can do is you can change your perks so that you have cold-blooded on. That's going to make you invisible to the VTOL ships and stuff like that, which are just so OP. So that's great. You're going to stop dying to them. Then you can put Ghost on. That's going to make you invisible on the minimap to all of the people slapping you, which is great if you're trying to flank them and you're trying to throw them off guard. And then you could also maybe throw a silencer on your weapon, which is also going to help. And you can even change the weapon that you're using. So if you're getting spawn trapped, the chances are, because this game is quite an open game, having an SMG or a shotgun or a gun like that isn't going to be very helpful. You're going to want to put on a decent assault rifle like the M4A1, like the ACR, that you're just going to be able to laser beam people with, and it's not going to require much skills control. That means you can put your energy into focus on other things like your positioning and just your awareness. And so you want to play really passively and really conservatively. You don't want to be just rushing non-stop, because the chances are they're going to be outgunning you, and so you want to outsmart them essentially. So you want to be waiting for them to come to you. You want to have great claymore positioning to try and blow them up, and you want to try and make it so that you're basically shooting them in the back all the time. And that's where the flanking is so important. So if you keep your back to the edge of the map, the chance of you getting shot in the back is minimized, because people can't play outside of the map. So you minimize that. And once you get round to the back of them, just by getting into a good power position and picking them off in the back, you can hopefully be quite stealthy and you can evade them and just get the easiest kills. And that's what you want to do. You want to minimize your gunfights where you're one-on-one both shooting each other, because if they're really good players, the chances are you are going to die. And this is how you're going to learn to be better than them. If you can't beat them with skill, you can beat them with your brain 9 times out of 10. Just do something unpredictable and they won't be able to figure you out. And this is where your values have to change, because you can't be expecting to just rush around and get your kill streaks against these kind of players. You really have to play like your life depends on it, essentially. Like, you only have one life. Now how would you play? You'd obviously play super conservatively. You wouldn't take many risks. You'd use your teammates as bait. You'd pre-aim every single corner. You'd pre-fire corners. You'd be stealthy. You'd crouch walk everywhere so they couldn't hear you. You'd do all of these little things that would add up and enable you to actually like outsmart the enemy players, which is a great thing. And so these tips are really helpful, and I think probably the most important takeaway to have is that you need to, it's just a change of mindset and a change, and that will reflect your changing game style. Because people end up just getting really mad when they get into these lobbies. They start blaming it on the game and stuff. But it's not the game's fault, it's just they're better than you. And once you admit that, you empower yourself to become a better player, and you can actually start to improve. And if you can start getting good against these kind of players, then you can absolutely destroy less good players like noobs. You will be able to get nukes at ease. So definitely it's worth sticking in these hard lobbies. It may not seem worth it at the time, but just give it a shot. I do recommend though, once you have finished a lobby, you definitely search for a new one. You back out of that and you find a new one, because you'll have more fun. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Just to summarize, essentially, do stuff that's unpredictable. Don't feed them kills. Try to gain map control by using flanks and just unpredictability. Come up with counter strategies to their strategies. For example, if they are camping in a specific area, lock down that area. Get to a position where it stops them from getting to that area. And just figure out what they're doing so you can either stay away from them or counter them. That's essentially the whole goal of it. Make sure you change your class setups mid-game to adapt to those players. And then you will be sorted. You will learn something from these games and you will figure something out. And you've just got to stay positive, really, because if you think about it, if you are getting kills against these players, that's like a good thing. Instead of being happy about getting 10 kill streaks, you need to start getting happy about getting 5 kill streaks, because it is tough against these good players. So yeah, they're my tips for when you get a bad lobby. Hopefully they do help you out, and hopefully you implement them into your own game and you can start taking some positives away from those tough games. If you want to enter the giveaway, go into the description, there'll be a link, and you'll get your chance of winning a free copy of Modern Warfare. It's been TheGIBBYNATR, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.